Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today we're going to be going over the 10 ugliest cars in Grand Theft Auto Online. Now some of these cars have actually been removed from the game, but most of them are still in the game. However, I felt like if I'm going to go for the ugliest cars, I got to include all of them, regardless of if they're available to buy. You're probably not going to want the one that is unavailable, so I think it's fine. Now, not all of these cars are necessarily ugly when you fully customize them. Some of them are only really ugly when you fully customize them. So take this list with a grain of salt. I'm going to explain it as I go. Let's go ahead and get started with number 10. At number 10, we have the BF Weevil Custom. This is going to cost you $870,000 plus an additional $980,000 for the upgrade from the BF Weevil into the Weevil Custom. Now, I don't think that the Weevil Custom is particularly a good looking vehicle in GTA Online. It's definitely like a rat rod style, vehicle. And I just personally think that those are really ugly a lot of the time. They don't really pique my interest. I can respect, the work that goes into them and stuff like that, but I just don't think that the Weevil Custom is a good looking vehicle whatsoever. I think this thing is super, super ugly. I don't think the proportions work very well. I don't think that the customization is particularly great on this thing either. Now, it is the highest top speed vehicle in Grand Theft Auto Online on last gen consoles and PC, with a top speed of 138 miles per hour, which is very, very quick in a straight line. However, everything else about it kind of sucks. I mean, off the line, it's not too bad, but it's not that great either. But the handling definitely sucks. It is, of course, in the muscle category, and yeah, I don't think it's a very good looking vehicle. I think it definitely is pretty ugly. That's it for number 10. Let's move on to number 9. At number 9, we have a vehicle that I absolutely cannot stand. My hatred of this thing is well documented throughout my channel, I would say. This is the Volcar Warrener HKR. Now, I have no problem with the Volcar Warrener. I think that's actually a very good looking car, but the HKR version is absolutely disgusting looking. And when you hear the price, you're going to want to vomit, because this thing goes for $945,000 if you have the trade price. And if you do not, it's going to cost you $1,260,000. So you're paying just an extreme amount of money for such an ugly, horrible vehicle. It's terribly slow. It does have some good customization. I will give it that, because it did come out with the Tuners DLC, so it's got a lot that can sort of be changed. But it really doesn't matter what you do to the Volcar Warrener HKR, because no matter what, it somehow remains very, very ugly. And the performance sucks as well. So really, the Volcar Warrener HKR just sucks in general, but it's also ugly. I think that the proportions are all messed up. I think that the cabin is too far forward on this thing. There's a lot of things that are wrong with the HKR. Definitely not a vehicle that I would recommend. Definitely one of the ugliest vehicles in the entire game. Let's move on to number 8. At number 8, we have the Canis Kalahari. Yes, I know I hate to include a Canis vehicle on the list, but the Kalahari has a special place in hell, because it is just, what is this thing? This was actually added with one of the first DLCs in Grand Theft Auto Online, and I think it was the only vehicle that was added with that DLC. It goes for about 40 grand, and you can't actually buy it anymore as far as I know, which honestly I don't think that's a bad thing. Not that you would ever want to buy it anyways, but yeah, the Canis Kalahari is a disgusting looking vehicle. Like, what is with the apparatus that goes up and above the thing? Like it's made out of scaffolding for no reason too. Like, there's no roof or anything. You can get a version of this vehicle with a roof, but I just think it's so ugly, bro. Like, it's just disgusting looking. I have to say, I actually don't mind the performance of it. It is all-wheel drive, and it gets a pretty good launch. The traction off-road is pretty good as well. But yeah, looks-wise, definitely one of the ugliest cars in the entire game, for sure. Nobody can refute this, I don't think. It's bad, man. It's bad. Let's talk about number 7. At number 7, we have the Anis Remus. Now, before the JDM guys freak out, and bro, it's the Sylvia. I know it is. Much like in real life, the car is ugly until you make it like crazy looking. And the Anis Remus, I think, as a stock vehicle, is very, very gross looking. I don't like the look of this car at all. Like, I'm not gonna say I don't like it at all, actually. It's got potential for sure, and that's exactly what happened in real life. I think people are like, okay, it has potential. And when you go and customize it and stuff, you can make it look really good. You could also make it look really bad, though. I love the Anis Remus. I personally have a great looking Anis Remus, I think. But as far as a stock Anis Remus goes, I think that it is a very bad looking vehicle in GTA. However, of course, with the customization options that you got, and it came out with the Tuners DLC, there's a lot that can be done to this thing to remedy the situation, and in fact, that's what most players do. Some people make it absolutely abhorrent, but generally, the Andis Remus can be made into a good-looking car. I just think it is really ugly when it is stock. So that's it for the Remus. Let's talk about number 6. At number 6, we have the Dinka Postlude. Now, the Postlude, I think, is actually not a terrible looking car when it's completely stock and with some light upgrades. However, if you make it look like mine here, it gets bad pretty quick. This thing goes for $982,500 if you have the trade price, all the way up to $1,310,000 if you do not have the trade price. So it's a little bit on the expensive side. It's sort of a Volcar Warner HKR type of deal. And I just don't think the Postlude is a very good looking car. And I know that might be a hot take. I know the JDM guys are probably not going to be too happy that I said that. But yeah, the Postlude is not a good looking car with particular customization options. It's okay looking when it's like stock and with like some light upgrades on it. But it's very easy to make your Postlude look absolutely terrible for sure. So yeah, the Postlude, not my favorite car, I'm not gonna lie, but I definitely think it is one of the uglier cars in GTA Online. But that's all I have to say about this. Let's move on to number 5. At number 5, I think everybody saw this coming. This is the Grotti X80 Proto. I hate this car. It goes for $2,700,000 and it's absolutely awful for the money. But beyond that, I do think that this is one of the ugliest cars in the entire game. I was actually going to place it higher on the list, but I felt like giving it some mercy, so it's actually at number 5. It's the 5th ugliest car in the game. Yeah, it's disgusting. I hate, like, I'm really not into the whole futuristic, you know, car look, unless it's done well, and the Grotti X80 Proto is not done well. It's like, it literally looks like a Hot Wheels car that you would go to the store and you buy like a futuristic looking Hot Wheels car, like in 2007. That's what the Grotti X80 Proto reminds me of. It's terrible. The performance is awful. There's not much customization that can be done. Overall, it's just not a good vehicle, and it certainly is very ugly, I think. So for that reason, it's at number 5. Honestly, could easily be at number 1, but there are some pretty ugly cars coming up here. So we'll talk about the next one. Let's move on to number 4. Number 4, we have the Karin Previon. Now, the Karin Previon goes for $1,117,500 up to $1,490,000 if you do not have the trade price. Now, I know that the JDM guys are going to get mad at me for this again. I think that the Karin Previon is a very challenging car to customize because pretty much whatever you do, this car is going to look bad. I just do not think that the Karin Previon is a good looking car in any shape or form. I've never seen a Karin Previon where I'm like, wow, that looks good. Like, and I think that that goes to show that the car is very bad looking to begin with, where you can't even change it up with customization to make me think like, wow, it looks okay actually, or like it looks good. You know, I feel like the Karin Previon is a very ugly vehicle. I feel like it's a very odd shape. Like the hood is so long and the trunk is so short and the cabin takes up just a weird amount of room and it's a weird shape. Like everything about this car is just almost correct, but it's just not. And I think that that speaks a lot to the Karin Previon and just why, like, I've never seen one that looks good, and I bet that there's going to be a few of you in the comments who, if you're honest with yourself, will be like, yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a Karin Previon that looks like amazing either. So hopefully that's the case. Maybe I'm going to get hated on for this. I probably am, but yeah, the Karin Previon is just not a good looking vehicle. It's definitely a pretty ugly vehicle. That's it for the Karin Previon at number 4. Let's move on to number 3. At number 3, we have the Ocelot Penetrator coming in at $880,000. This car shares more similarities with a Catfish than a automobile, I think. It's got the whole front end Catfish look going for it. The back is not very good looking. The shape from the side is not very good. Yeah, I feel like Rockstar took the Jaguar XJ220 and was like, yeah, let's make it look more like a fish. And they did it. I mean, it looks like a Catfish for sure, so congratulations to Rockstar if that's what they were going for, I guess. I don't think that the XJ220 in real life is necessarily a bad looking car. I don't think it's a great looking car either, but whatever they did to the Ocelot Penetrator is kind of unforgivable. I actually feel bad for the XJ220 in real life, having to look at its GTA counterpart and be like, wow, they really messed me up. Yeah, the Penetrator's not, yeah, it's not a good looking vehicle. It's definitely definitely top 3 ugliest in the entire game for sure. I don't have much more to say about it, honestly. That's it for number 3. Let's talk about number 2. Number 2, we have the overflawed Immorgan coming in at $2,165,000. The Immorgan is an ugly car, guys. Especially for the cost, $2,165,000, like just under $2.2 million. The overflowed Immorgan is absolutely disgusting looking. Unfortunately, it does have some pretty good performance, so I can't knock it performance-wise, but you're definitely going to have to make a sacrifice, you know, for your eyes. They're going to have to look at the back of the overflowed Immorgan to, you know, do relatively okay in races. So, you know, if it's worth it to you, then I guess you can do it. But the Italia GTO is about 300 grand cheaper than this thing, so I would definitely go for the Italia GTO before I'd go for the Immorgan, because it's better performance-wise and it definitely looks better. I don't think that there's any human being on Earth that has eyes that genuinely could argue that the overflawed Immorgan is a good-looking vehicle. I could see it from the front. From the front, I don't think it's horrible looking, but from any other angle, it is absolutely terrible. Why is it so tall? Why is it so tall? And why is the back end of the car just like that? Like, why does it look like that? It's just not good looking at all. Even the front end is like, it's like okay, you know, it's excusable, but it's not good looking, that's for sure. I don't know, it's just really not a good looking car. Definitely one that I would not recommend picking up if you want something that looks good, that's for sure. So that's it for the overflowed Immorgan. At number 1, I've got something that's probably going to surprise a few of you. This is, of course, the Pegassi Toreador, coming in at $4,250,000. Of course, it did get that price increase from $3,660,000 up to $4,250,000. The Toreador is a bad looking car. It's very ugly. I don't think that the Toreador looks very good. Maybe it's just my customization, but I don't think that the Toreador's styling fits. I feel like it's a very botched attempt at a car. I don't think that it looks good, like, at all. I mean, like, nothing about it fits well with each other. Like, it's just not good looking. And I know this is probably a hot take, and I know everyone loves the Toreador, and I love the Toreador too, don't get me wrong, but it is an ugly car. It is an ugly, ugly, ugly car. Nothing about this thing's proportions work. It's so tiny at the back, like the trunk area of the car is tiny. The hood is pretty short too, and then the passenger area is super long. The windows are on both sides of the door pant. Like, it's not good looking. It is ugly. It's like the Pontiac Aztek of GTA. It is disgusting looking. Actually, maybe that's more fitting for the Immorgan. The Immorgan looks more like the Aztek, I would say, but I'm going to just refer to the Toreador as the Aztek because it's an ugly car in real life. So, yeah, I think that the Toreador it's just not good looking. It's just not good looking. Objectively, I don't think it's a good looking vehicle. Maybe I need to recustomize mine. I don't know, but it's not good looking. I don't think. It's similar to what I said earlier. Like, I've never seen a good looking Toreador, I don't think. I've never seen a Toreador that's like, wow, that looks good. Like, no, I've just never seen it. The Toreador and the Car Previon are kind of in the same boat for me in that regard, where it's just like, I've never seen one that looks amazing. So that's really all I have to say, guys. Those are the 10 ugliest vehicles in GTA Online. Let me know what you thought on my list in the comments down below. I'm very interested to know what you guys think of the vehicles that I've selected, or if there's any that you feel like I missed. Please let me know if you think I missed any. Maybe I'll make a part 2 to this video, but yeah, these are the ugliest vehicles in GTA. Leave a like if you enjoyed, dislike if you didn't, of course, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and I will see you all in the next video. Until then, take care. Peace.